I was um I was going over the preparation steps for an interview. You know, the good old research the subject, the topic, figure out which direction you want the interview to go. You know, the story you're trying to tell. Secure location and sort of prep the subject before the interview. You know, not give them the questions, but sort of let them know about the topic. So just so that they're well prepared. You know, and whilst I was thinking about this, it occurred to me that I think that I'm a good judge of character and that I've got a good bullshit meter, eh? But how do I know that the person I'm sitting down with is going to be 100% transparent and open? And I don't mean that they'd lie to me or anything, but how do I know that whatever they deliver isn't some sort of pre-rehearsed script designed just to make them look good? You know, which makes sense. You know, in the age of the internet, once it's out there on the ether, it's there forever, pretty much. So, and I'm saying this because I know a couple of people in real life. You know, well, more than a couple, but and they have certain opinions and views on certain topics, and they're brave enough to say it behind closed doors and in the privacy of chats, but in public they would never say it. And these aren't even extreme opinions or views or anything. These are very just your average just truth. They're just being honest. I don't find it offensive, and I don't think the majority of people would. But for some reason, they feel very guarded, and to some extent, I understand. Maybe some of them might have political ambitions, and so they're trying to keep it all tame. Some of them might be worried about future employment prospects, so they try to keep everything on the wraps. But at the same time, you can't walk around on eggshells, especially if you're just being honest and transparent. But like I said, I understand to some extent. So I suppose that's part of the job. What I'm trying to build here is it is my job to try and extract truth and information, a good story. Well, it's manipulation, right? We'll call it what it is. And so I came up with a solution, and I'm not sure if it's the best one, but it's the one I've come up with. So step one would be I would have to establish a relationship of trust with everybody I sat down with. And that might mean it drags out maybe for a couple of weeks. I might have to do a couple of coffee dates and back and forths and all that stuff just to build that trust between us. Step two would be I would have to make sure that the location we filmed in was one that gave them the most comfort and safety. And so that they would know that, you could trust me. Here's a good location that you feel comfortable in. I'm not out here to exploit you. And they would look at me as more of an ally or companion of sorts. And step three would be the one that was probably most important, which is they would have the final say on the product. And they would, once the interview was done and edited, they would be the first ones to watch it, and they would decide what got omitted and what wouldn't. Where do we scrap the whole thing? Which sucks because, oh, if you got a really good interview filled with real good juicy details, and they weren't happy with it, you'd have to honor that, right? And so if I could do that, if I stick to this code, it'll help build trust in me as a person, as an interviewer, and it'll build a reputation on my brand. Now, this solution did not come from a place of kindness. No, I'm not being kind. I'm not being virtuous, or it's not based on morality. This is what I believe to be a sound sort of brand building business plan, and it's structurally strategic. All I've done is taken trust, reputation, and consent, and I've weaponized them. That sounds terrible, eh? But that's what all I've done, really. Like, my trust becomes the distribution engine, my reputation becomes my compounding interest, and the consent could be, I suppose you could look at it as some sort of a form of risk management. And so if you were able to, if you could package that and just explain it to them that way, like, hey, this is the go. Um, yeah, I think it'd work. I think it's a good solution, really. The Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to, I'd be interested to see what other people do and how they vet the people they talk to. Like, how do they make sure that that person is being 100% honest? You can't really, not 100%, but you can to a certain degree try and, I suppose, establish a rapport where the subject trusts you enough to be able to be open, and that they know you're not going to throw them under the bus. So yeah, that's what I come up with. So yeah, I'll be interested if anybody sees this and you're doing something similar and you have a better solution. Hit me up. I'm out here learning, so anything helps. I'm happy to learn, and I'll continue to look for better ways to do this. But that's the yeah, that's the yarn today. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so